Attention passionate Buffalo, BILLSFANS. Latest news, something big is happening in the AFC East and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Buffalo Bills' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Buffalo Bills fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Buffalo BILLSFANS. Let's get to the news. All right, Bills Mafia, buckle up because what I'm about to tell you might just be the shakeup we've been waiting for. The NFL rumors are swirling, and they point to a potential blockbuster trade that could reshape our defense and ultimately our chances of bringing another Lombardi home. Word is coming from some pretty reliable sources like Adam Schefter and others close to the league that the San Francisco 49ers might be willing to part ways with linebacker Fred Warner, and the Bills are front and center in the mix. Now, I know it sounds crazy at first. Warner is a top-tier linebacker, one of the best in the league, and he's been a cornerstone for San Francisco. But in the NFL, nothing's impossible, especially when you consider the current cap situations, injury issues, and strategic rebuilds happening on both sides. Let's start by breaking down the situation with the 49ers. They're sitting at a 5-5 record, which isn't terrible, but they're facing some really tight cap constraints. They've got about $6 million in cap space, which isn't much, especially when you consider the need to extend their young quarterback, Brock Purdy. The Niners might be looking to free up some cash, and that could mean parting with a key player like Warner. Plus, they've been leaking sacks, allowing around 25 sacks with their offensive line, which is a concern. They're also dealing with some injuries, particularly to their secondary, which is allowing 24 points per game, and their cap situation isn't helping them fix everything at once. On the other hand, the Bills are sitting at 7-3 with about negative $113 million in cap space. That's right, we're technically over the cap, but with some strategic maneuvering, we can make it work. And what do we need? Well, an elite linebacker to lead our defense. Our linebacking core has been a bit shaky, especially with some injuries like Matt Milano's recent injury, which has taken away a vital leader on our defense. Warner, with his ability to read plays, make tackles, and shut down passing lanes, could be exactly what the doctor ordered. He's a proven playmaker, with a career total of around 800 tackles, 15 sacks, and 10 interceptions. Pretty much a complete linebacker package. If this trade happens, it could give the Bills a massive boost. Warner's presence would elevate our run defense and pass coverage, making us much more difficult to move the ball against. His tackling rate is elite, averaging around 5 tackles per game, and he's a guy who can communicate and organize our defense from the middle linebacker spot. Plus, his ability to read the game means fewer big plays allowed, which has been a recurring issue for us this season. The stats back it up. Warner's tackling efficiency and coverage grades are among the best in the league, and his presence could be a game-changer for the Bills, especially in close games down the stretch. Now, let's talk about what this would mean for the Bills' overall strategy. If we bring in Warner, we're not just adding a linebacker, we're adding a leader, a field general who can help coordinate our entire defense. Currently, our defense has been solid at times, but injuries and lack of consistency have hurt us. Warner's leadership would help stabilize things, and his playmaking ability would turn our defense into a true strength. It's about creating a domino effect, boosting our tackling, reducing points allowed, and increasing our turnover opportunities. Imagine him next to Matt Milano, two dynamic linebackers flying around, shutting down the run, dropping back into coverage, and forcing turnovers. What about the impact on our offense? Well, when you have a defense that can get off the field quicker and force more punts, it directly benefits Josh Allen and our offensive unit. It's all interconnected. Plus, Warner's presence would allow us to be more aggressive in blitz packages, knowing that our middle linebacker can cover a lot of ground and make plays in critical moments. The Bills' coaching staff would have more flexibility to dial up pressure or play more conservatively, depending on the game situation. And let's not forget Warner's ability to make tackles after the catch, YAC, would help us limit big gains against us, especially against teams like the Jets or Dolphins, who rely on quick passes and yard-after-catch plays. Now, considering the cap and roster implications, the 49ers might be looking for a third-round pick in the 2026 draft as part of the deal. That's a reasonable price for a player of Warner's caliber, especially given their financial constraints and the need to extend Purdy with a hefty extension that could hit around $220 million. The Niners might see this as an opportunity to rebuild their secondary and free up some cash to keep their core intact. For the Bills, acquiring Warner would be a statement move, showing that we're serious about contending now and in the future. It's about building a defense that can dominate in the playoffs, and Warner fits that mold perfectly. The impact on the field would be immediate. We're talking about an addition that could add around 100 tackles to our total, significantly lowering the points per game allowed, potentially from around 18-2 to close to 14. That's a game changer. Our stop rate would jump from 75% to over 94%, meaning we'd be forcing more punts and giving ourselves more offensive opportunities. Plus, with Warner in the middle, we'd see a reduction in big plays allowed, cutting that from 14 per game to around 8. That's the kind of defensive upgrade that can turn close games into wins. From a playoff perspective, this move would elevate our chances considerably. Warner has playoff experience and has shown he can perform under pressure, as he did with the 49ers in recent seasons. He's a guy who can step into the spotlight and be a difference maker, especially in high-stakes games. With Warner, the Bills' odds of making a deep playoff run would increase, potentially boosting our Super Bowl chances from plus 1,500 to plus 600 odds. That's a massive shift, and it reflects just how impactful a player like him could be in our quest for a second Lombardi. Of course, there are always questions. Will the 49ers really trade Warner? It depends on their willingness to rebuild and free up cap space. Will the Bills be willing to part with a future third-round pick? Probably, if it means securing a player who can make such a difference immediately. The coaching staff would need to integrate Warner quickly, but given his experience and football IQ, it's a move that could pay dividends right away. Plus, it sends a message to the entire league that the Bills are all in this season, aiming to strengthen every aspect of our roster to maximize our Super Bowl window. Looking ahead, if this trade goes through, we'd see a transformed Bills defense that's more aggressive, more disciplined, and better equipped to handle the toughest offenses in the league. It's about creating a dominant unit that can set the tone early in games and carry us through the playoffs. Warner's addition could be the final piece that completes our puzzle, making us not just contenders but favorites in the AFC. And with our offensive firepower led by Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, and the emerging talents around them, this upgraded defense could push us all the way. So, Bills fans, stay tuned because this is the kind of move that could define our season. It's not just speculation, it's a real possibility that has the potential to turn our fortunes around. The AFC is loaded, but with a player like Warner, we'd have a serious advantage. It's about building a team that's relentless, smart, and hungry, exactly what we need to bring that Super Bowl trophy back home to Buffalo. Keep your eyes on this story, because if it happens, you'll want to be among the first to celebrate. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Buffalo Bills news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. And now, Buffalo Bills fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this potential blockbuster? Do you think Warner is the right fit for our defense? Are you excited about the idea of strengthening our linebacking core and making a serious push for the Super Bowl? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Bills. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Buffalo Bills news. Let's go, Bills Mafia!